Welcome to part 8, last video. In this video we will discuss two more reactions, name reactions and some haloalkanes compounds. That is more important because they may ask these questions in MCQ questions. So what are the two reactions we left out in the part 7? They are nothing but the Wurtz-Fittig reaction and Wurtz-Fittig reaction. So already we know that Wurtz reaction will take place in the presence of dry ether with sodium metal. Okay. So that means, Wurtz-Fittig, first let us know the Fittig reaction. Fittig reaction means aryl halides, that is two molecules of aryl halides give analogous compounds when they are treating with the sodium metal in the presence of dry ether, they will give the diphenyl compounds. So this is called the Fittig reaction. Fittig reaction meant for aryl halides. Aryl halides with sodium metal in the presence of dry ether, two molecules will be added together and gives the diphenyl compounds. Similarly, Wurtz-Fittig reaction means Wurtz reaction and Fittig reaction. So let us see. Wurtz reaction means alkyl halides in the presence of sodium. Fittig reaction means two molecules of this aryl halide. So here what will happen? One molecule of aryl halide reacts with one molecule of alkyl halide in the presence of sodium and dry ether. They will give. That means this halogen atom is replaced by alkyl group and forms the that is alkyl arenes. Alkyl arenes will be formed. So this is called the Wurtz reaction and Fittig reaction. Fittig reaction explains this one, Wurtz reaction explains this one. So that's why this reaction we are calling it as Wurtz-Fittig reaction. So these two are very, very important. Now let us discuss some polyhalogen compounds which are used in the agriculture industries and the metallic industries. So first one is the dichloromethane, CH2Cl2. That means it is widely used as the paint remover, as the solvent and as a propellant in aerosols. Aerosols means deodorants and all these things we are using. As the process solvent in the manufacture of drugs. It is also used as the metal cleaning the metals and finishing solvent. So methylene chloride harms the human central nervous. If you use it, if you inhale it, it will affect the central nervous system. If it is exposed to the lower quantities means in the air can lead the slightly impaired hearing and vision. That means it affects the hearing and vision in the lower levels. But if it is the higher levels in the air, causes the dizziness, nausea, tingling and the numbness in the fingers and toes. In humans, direct contact, if it is there, it causes the intense burning and mild redness of the skin. So direct contact, if it is there, it can burn the eyes and in the cornea, the part of the cornea in the eyes. So this is the dichloromethane. After dichloromethane, let us see the trichloromethane. That is, it is also called the chloroform, CHCl3. That means it is employed as solvents as the fats, alkaloids and iodine in the tincture iodine and some other substances. So generally the major use of the chloroform is the production of freon, that is which we are using the gas in the refrigerators. That is freon refrigerant R22. It is number as given as R22. It was generally earlier it was used as the anesthetic in surgery, but due to the toxicity it was replaced and safer anesthetics as ether in the place of chloroform. Nowadays we are using the ether. So, and already suppose if it is inhaling chloroform, vapors depresses the central nervous system. It also affects the central nervous system. 900 parts per million ppm for a short time can cause the dizziness and headache and fatigue. So like this, chronic chloroform exposure may cause the damage to the liver, also causes the liver cancer. Okay, that means where chloroform is oxidized, that is metabolized into the phosgen gas COCl3, phosgen COCl2, COCl2, that is phosgen gas which is harmful to this one. Okay, Chloroform is slowly oxidized by air in the presence of light to an extremely poisonous gas that is called the carbonyl chloride, or it is also called the phosgene. So that's why chloroform is stored in the dark colored bottles, which completely filled. That means no air should be there. So that's why chloroform is always filled in the bottles with completely filled and dark colored bottles. That is the reason. Otherwise, in the presence of light, oxidizes and forms the carbonyl chloride, that is called the phosgene gas. So that's why it is very poisonous. Next one is iodoform, that is triiodomethane, CHI3. That is CHCl3 chloroform. This is CHI3 iodoform. It was used earlier as the antiseptic, but antiseptic properties are due to the liberation of iodine from triiodomethane. That is, free iodine will be liberated, but not due to the iodoform. So only iodine will be liberated. That is the antiseptic properties. Due to its objectionable smell, it was replaced by some other, that is contain some other formulations which are containing the iodine. So this is about the triiodomethane, or it is also called the iodoform. Next one is the carbon tetrachloride, that means CCl4 or tetrachloromethane, it is also called. Large quantities for use manufacture of refrigerants and propellants for aerosol cans. That means deodorants. This will be used, to move out from as the aerosol. It is also used as the feedstock in the synthesis of chlorofluorocarbons, CFC, and other chemicals. So generally, it was the solvent they are using until 1960. Afterwards, it was widely used as the cleaning fluid, both in industry as the detergent agent and at home. So a spot remover as the fire extinguisher. So tetrachloromethane is used, but some carbon tetrachloride, if it is exposed to the sun, humans, it causes the liver cancer in the humans. So that's why they stopped. Exposure to CCl4 can make the heartbeat irregularity, or sometimes it may stop also. So that means we should not expose it to the carbon tetrachloride. The chemical may irritate the eyes on contact. When carbon tetrachloride is released into the air, it rises the atmosphere and depletes the ozone layer. So depletion of ozone layer is caused by the CCl4. Next compounds are freons, the chlorofluorocarbon compounds of methane and ethane, both methane and ethane, that is chlorofluoro compounds. That means chlorine should be there also and fluorine should be there. Both of methane and ethane, they are called the freons. So they are extremely stable. They don't react with any other non-toxic, non-corrosive and easily liquefiable gases. Freon 12, that observe it. Freon 12, that is R22. This is Freon 12. CCl2F2 is one of the most common freons in the industrial use. That means how they will prepare the Schwarz reaction means fluorine compounds are prepared in the Schwarz reaction only. So CCl2F2 is prepared from the Schwarz reaction only. So generally aerosol, propellants, refrigerants, all the same compounds they are using. In 1974, total freon production in the world was at 2 billion pounds annually. Most freon, even that used in the refrigeration, it makes its way into the atmosphere where it diffuses unchanged into the stratosphere. Freon is able to initiate the radical chain reaction that upsets the natural ozone balance. So this will be freons and CCl4. Both they are disturbing the natural ozone balance. So these are that means freons are prepared from the Schwarz reaction, which are called freons, chlorofluorocarbon compounds, CFC of methane and ethane. Both these are called the freons. This is the most important, that is DDT, or para, that means at two para positions, dichloro, diphenyl, trichloroethane, DDT, dichloro, diphenyl, trichloroethane, DDT, actually DDTE, if you remember, then you can understand very easily. That means first D means dichloro, second one is diphenyl, third one is trichloroethane. So DDT, if you observe this structure, observe it. So that is a dichloro diphenyl. These are the two. Okay, trichloroethane. So this is the compound. So just many reactions are there. And Nobel Prize, Paul Muller, he was the first. He was awarded Nobel Prize in Medicine and Physiology in 1960 for the discovery of the DDT. Paul Muller. The use of DDT increased enormously in the worldwide because once you are using means, earlier we used to kill the insects like ants and all, but nowadays we are not using because already they are accustomed. They developed their what we can say in their body, so that's why they are not using nowadays. Many species of insects developed the resistance to DDT, so that's why we are not using nowadays. Okay, the chemical stability of DDT and its fats solubility compounded the problem. DDT is not metabolized very rapidly by animals. Instead, it is deposited and stored in the fatty tissues of the injection continues at the steady rate. DDT builds up within the animals over time. The use of DDT was banned in the afterwards. Of course, nowadays we are using, but it was banned in the United States. And nowadays we are using this DDT as an insecticide. So that means first of all you should know the symbol and the meaning and the structure. These are the more important. Who got the Nobel Award? That is Nobel Prize. That also very, very important. This is the lesson about the haloalkanes and haloarenes. So from this chapter minimum 6 marks you will get. Name reactions and the mechanisms SN1 and SN2 and how to find out the SN1 mechanism and SN2 mechanism in which haloalkanes and which haloarenes it will be taken place, and what are the compounds that are haloalkanes and haloarenes are present in this one. So all these are important. Just you go through once and make your own notes and prepare well.